Hi there, further info on this nice little multimeter that I got at the Bootsale. I paid £2 for it and I'm well pleased. As I stated on the earlier video, it's American, although made in Japan. I assumed that it was going to be 110 volts, but when I powered it up with 110 volts, the little indicator bulb just glowed. It didn't really light up, it just glowed very dim, and the valves didn't even light up. So I thought, this is interesting. Let's have a little look. It's possibly made for the UK market. Then when I looked at the transformer, there's a little note on there which probably a bit of a clue. It's got a number, and at the end of the number it's got UK, which could be the fact that it's for the UK, which means the transformer is the only different part. That would have been made to receive 240 volts as opposed to 110, 120. Same power leader as the Americans use, but that is normal. So anyhow, connected it up to my trusted Variac and slowly wound it up, and sure enough, on our mains 230, 240, 220, the lamp became fully lit and the valves heated up. There's two valves there and they heated up. So I thought, well, that is good. Anyhow, the mystery was still not solved. I turned it over and tried it out. Now excuse me getting into a bit of a mess here, turning it over. Now there's sets of control knobs. I came to the conclusion this is not an ordinary voltmeter. It's in fact a valve voltmeter, which means it would be high impedance to using the meter, which meant that normally a meter might be 10,000 ohms per volt, but using valves this would be much more. It's a fairly old unit, but I am well pleased, and I've tested various bits and pieces. The heater of the valve and the light comes on from turning this knob to on. Where it's on, it's the first position is AC volts. Then you've got neg DC, positive DC and ohms. Well, the negative and positive simply refers to the polarity. Now I first of all thought the two leads, you've got your common and the red, but I was wrong. The test voltages, it's common, which is the negative side, and the centre contact of the DC. Mind, it's plain as anything, it says DC volts, so why the hell I didn't see it, I don't know. Put it down to being stupid or old, probably a combination of both. Anyhow, when I connected that up, I got a reading on the meter, which would only operate if the valves were actually powered up, which tells me it's certainly a valve voltmeter. Now, the other knobs here, they were a bit confusing, but they needn't be. The first knob is 1.5 volts. If you're reading very low voltages, that's the one you'd set your indicator to, 1.5. Then it goes up to 6 volts, 18, is it 18 or 15, 50 volts, 160, 500 volts, 1500 volts, which is rather nice because you've got a good range there. And for example, if I was on the setting for take 50 volts, which happens to be the voltage in a telephone exchange. I'm set on 50 volts. I would then go to the dial, which full scale deflection indicates 50. So you'd use that scale. And likewise, whatever setting you had that on, the scale's there. So there's no sort of sitting and working out and deducing which scale to use. It's made nice and easy. Probably for stupid people like me. I do like simplicity, and I'll say this again, the American stuff, really they give good clear instructions, although having said that I haven't got the instructions for this. So if anyone's got a set of instructions for this, I'll be interested. Anyhow, by comparing English instructions with American instructions, the American instructions are far better. Now I'm English, well I'm half English and half Canadian, so there we are. So I'm well pleased, you could say, like a dog with two tails. And for £2 at a boot sale, a bloody good deal, and it looks like it's working. I haven't checked everything out. You've got an ohmmeter reading. Now also what I would say is you've got some knobs here. Now, being a valve or tube voltmeter, you have to alter whatever the setting is, you have to turn it on and then switch to the range you're going to use, and then without any connection this knob is adjusted so your needle points to 0. This is important, so it's got to be zeroed when it's used. Similar, when you're doing the ohms, you've got an ohms adjust, which you would adjust to 0 with the ohms not being connected. I haven't tried that part of it, but that is what you would do. This funny plug in the middle is the common side is obviously this outer side and the center connector. I've got the probes with this and it explains a lot. So as you can tell, I'm rather pleased, and to get a valve voltmeter is good. I can't wait to have another Bootsale when he has got some other stuff to get rid of. You never know, he might have some amateur radio gear. And if it's the same type of price, then it'll be worth grabbing. Anyhow, as I say, anything else to say on this, I don't know. I said quite a bit previously, but oh yeah, those controls. The centre control, the one we're looking at in the middle, you've got 3 pots, where it's the one in the middle. That's the one you would adjust to get your correct voltage, and I tweak that up to indicate the correct voltage. I've taken the voltage out of my bench power supply, which is off at the moment, so I set that up to 12 volts and jiggled about with that middle pot and indicated 12 volts. It's more or less accurate. I'm not saying it's 100% accurate, but it's near enough, considering this is quite an old instrument and a valve instrument. You have to give it a little bit of leeway. So I say it's probably the 60s, I would think. Anyhow, finish me talking. Just thought I'd bring a bit more information up on this. And to recap, it looks like it was possibly sold in England for the enthusiastic ham radio or anything like that who would work and want a meter which was high impedance, because this is certainly high impedance using valves. Now you'd probably get away with a transistorized meter, but I'm pleased to get this. Although it's Japanese made, it's well made. I would suggest it was constructed by the person over here, I don't know, there's no way of finding out, and as the person is now no longer with us, I can't find out, but it was nicely laid out. All the wires have got colours, and also it tells you where they go. You've got a black lead there for the battery. Well, that's the battery to go in there. It's a U11. Well, I call it a U11. It's the size down from a U2. That I have found a battery which I'm going to pop in there. You've got your red wire there, which everything's marked red, so it would be a home constructed job. I'd have loved to have made this up. In the old days I would have done that. These connections are from the actual transformer, the secondary of the transformer. Your 2 reds and 2 greens. Was it greys? No, they're green. Nice, it's a nice instrument. As I mentioned before, the resistors are high stab. That means they the value remains constant over a temperature range. They're normally got coloured bands. I won't tell you the way to remember the colour code. It can be a bit rude, and I don't want to upset anyone on YouTube, but engineers and that are in the electrical trade will well know the way of remembering it. Similar way as you remember the colours of the rainbow. Richard of York gained battle in vain. That's all polite, but the resistor colour code is a little bit naughty and non-PC, so we won't go there. Anyhow, once again, I love being able to talk and give these things over, and I thought, well, they added a bit of information, I would let you all know, because to me it's very interesting. And excuse it shaking, I'm going to have to set a way of doing this so my camera doesn't shake, but anyhow, let's say at the moment it seems to be okay. And once again, thanks for looking. I'm going to carry on checking the ohm reading and popping it back into its box, which, as I say, it's nicely made and I'm well pleased. So once again, thanks for looking. I hope I haven't bored you. And yep, thanks again. Any comments, make anyone with a diagram of this or instructions, I'd be very grateful for, but it's not essential. I can work it out. It gets the old brain box working. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Thank you.